Most people never even think about cleaning under the hood, and honestly, who can blame them? It looks complicated. There are wires everywhere, and the number one fear is spraying water on something that fries the whole electrical system. But here's the truth. After 3 decades of working on cars, I can tell you that super cleaning your engine bay is one of the easiest and most satisfying things you can do in your garage. Today, I am walking you through 12 simple steps that will take your engine bay from grimy and neglected to looking absolutely brand new. Step 10 alone is going to completely transform every faded piece of plastic and rubber under your hood, and stick around for a bonus tip at the end that will blow you away. The first step in this whole process is to gather your supplies and suit up before you touch a single thing under that hood. This might sound basic, but trust me, laying everything out right next to your vehicle before you start is going to save you a ton of time and frustration. You do not want to be running back and forth to the garage with greasy hands looking for a brush you forgot. Here is what you need. Grab a big pack of microfiber towels because you are going to go through a lot of them. Pick up an assortment of brushes including a couple of long-handled detail brushes, a toothbrush, some pipe cleaners, and a metal wire brush. You will also need a spray bottle filled with soapy water, which is just a squirt of regular dish soap mixed with warm water. Grab some cleaning wipes, a can of spray wax, a bottle of water-based trim restorer, and a couple of paint markers in black. Every one of these products is inexpensive and easy to find at any auto parts store. Now, before you dive in, put on a pair of nitrile gloves to protect your hands from chemicals, grease, and old engine grime. A pair of safety glasses is a smart idea too, because you will be brushing and spraying and you do not want anything splashing into your eyes. Get everything organized, lay it all within arm's reach, and you are ready to go. The second step in our engine bay super clean is to disconnect and remove the battery. This is probably the most important safety step in the entire process. Since we are going to be getting water near electrical components, we want to completely isolate the power source so there is zero chance of shorting anything out. Start by disconnecting the negative terminal first, then the positive. If your battery is located in the engine bay and is easy to access, go ahead and remove the whole thing. Taking it out gives you a lot more room to work in that area and lets you clean the battery tray underneath, which is usually one of the dirtiest spots in the whole engine compartment. Even if your battery is tucked away in the trunk or under a seat, make absolutely sure both leads are disconnected. The whole point here is peace of mind. With no electricity flowing through any of those wires and sensors, you cannot short anything out even if a little water gets where it should not. We will reconnect everything at the very end once the engine bay is completely dry. The third step is to protect sensitive electrical components before any water comes near them. Even though we disconnected the battery, there are still parts under the hood that we do not want to soak. Your alternator is one of them. If your vehicle has a distributor, that is another. Follow your spark plug wires to find it and make sure the cap is pressed down firmly. On engines where the spark plugs sit on top, be extra careful because water can pool in those spark plug wells and it does not dry out easily. Now, here is the good news. Everything under your hood is designed to handle getting wet. You drive through rain and puddles all the time. The difference is we are going to be spraying water from above, so we just want to be smart about it. We are using a gentle shower setting on the hose, not a pressure washer. Those electrical connectors might be water resistant from the factory, but years of heat cycles and vibration make them less watertight over time, so pressurized water is a bad idea. One more thing people forget. Check your engine oil dipstick and make sure it is pushed all the way in. Do the same with your brake fluid reservoir cap, your power steering cap, and your automatic transmission dipstick if you have one. We do not want water sneaking into any of those systems. Now, if you're finding this video helpful so far, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps this video reach more car owners like yourself who would also find this information helpful. All right, let's continue. The fourth step is to dry clean the engine bay with brushes and a vacuum. This is exactly what it sounds like. Before any water touches this engine, we are going to remove as much loose dirt, dust, and road grime as we possibly can while everything is still dry. The reason is simple. If you spray water on top of all that loose dust first, it turns into mud and gets pushed into crevices that are nearly impossible to reach. So grab a dust mask because things are about to get dusty, then take your long-handled detail brush and start working it across every surface you can reach. Use the brush to agitate the dust and have your vacuum right there to suck it up immediately. For tight spots around sensors and wiring harnesses, a toothbrush works great. If you have an air compressor with a nozzle attachment, that is even better for blowing dust out of those hard-to-reach areas. A leaf blower works well too, if that is what you have on hand. Some shop vacuums even let you flip the hose to the exhaust port so it blows air instead of sucking it in. This whole step only takes about 5 minutes, but the difference is real. You will be surprised how much cleaner the engine looks just from dry brushing alone. The fifth step in our process is to polish exposed aluminum and metal surfaces. Not every engine bay has a lot of visible aluminum, but if yours does, this step makes a dramatic difference. Aluminum intake manifolds, valve covers, and lettering can get discolored, pitted, and oxidized over the years. And since those are often the largest visible surfaces in the engine bay, cleaning them up really transforms the whole look. For smaller areas, a metal wire brush works perfectly. Just rub it back and forth across the aluminum, and you will see the shine start to come back. For larger surfaces like a big intake manifold, a rotary tool with a wire wheel attachment speeds things up considerably and tends to leave a slightly shinier finish. Just be careful around any plastic pieces, sensors, or rubber hoses nearby. You do not want to nick or scratch those. Even just spending a minute or two on aluminum lettering against a dark intake can create a beautiful silver and black contrast that really sets the engine apart. The sixth step is to cover the engine and wet clean the hood and the outer engine bay. Grab a garbage bag and drape it over the top of the engine. This keeps the bulk of the water off the engine core while we clean the surrounding areas. Start with the hood. Hose down the painted surfaces in the hood liner using a gentle shower setting. Spray the hood liner and paint with your soapy water, then wipe it all down with a microfiber towel. If your hood liner is really stained, a carpet cleaner sprayed on and left to soak works wonders. Just be careful if your hood liner is sagging or fragile, because water can make that worse. Once the hood is done, move to the outer edges of the engine bay. Pick a side and work your way around. Rinse the surface first, then go over it with a cleaning wipe to pick up oil and grease. Spray your soapy water generously, scrub with a brush, use pipe cleaners for tight gaps, and then rinse it all away with the hose. Each side takes about 5 minutes. Dish soap is perfect for this, because it cuts grease effectively without degrading rubber, plastic, or metal surfaces. The seventh step is the one that makes everyone nervous, and that is cleaning the engine itself without soaking it. Start by carefully removing the garbage bag. Now here's a tip that makes this whole step manageable. Split the engine down the middle and pick one side to start on. Work from front to back. If a large component like an intake is blocking your access, consider removing it temporarily. It usually just takes disconnecting a sensor or two and popping off a couple of hoses. Now, instead of using the hose directly on the engine, we are going to use a different approach. Spray your soapy water as a fine mist across the surfaces, scrub with your brushes and pipe cleaners, and then instead of rinsing with water, wipe everything down with a microfiber towel. The towel absorbs the soapy water and the loosened dirt at the same time, so you are cleaning and drying in one motion for really tight spots. Wrap a microfiber towel around a pipe cleaner and work it into those hard-to-reach gaps. A warm engine makes this easier because grease comes off more readily, but a cold engine works just fine. Just avoid putting cold water on a very hot engine because the rapid temperature change can warp or crack metal components. The eighth step is to dry the entire engine bay thoroughly. Grab a fresh, clean microfiber towel and start wiping down every surface. This is more important than people realize. You want everything completely dry before we move on to detailing, and definitely before we reconnect the battery. As you dry, your towel will pick up residual dirt you might have missed, so you are getting one last cleaning pass in the process. Pay special attention to any areas where water is pooled. Spark plug wells, recessed bolt holes, and low spots along the fender walls are common places where water collects. Get your towel in there and soak it up. If you have a shop vacuum, it Works great for sucking standing water out of those deeper pockets. The ninth step is to wax all the painted surfaces in the engine bay. People always wax the outside of the car, but completely forget about the painted fenders, firewall, and strut towers under the hood. Grab your spray wax and mist it onto every painted surface you can find in the engine bay, then buff it in with a clean microfiber towel. This does two things. It protects the paint from future grime and heat exposure, and it deepens the color so everything looks richer and more vibrant. This takes just a couple of minutes, and the visual difference is immediately noticeable. The 10th step in our super clean process is to restore rubber and plastic trim with a water-based trim restore. This is the step that truly transforms a dull engine bay into something that looks factory fresh. Pour a small amount of trim restore onto one spot, dip your brush into it, and start working it into every rubber hose, plastic cover, wire loom, and trim piece you can reach. Work one side of the engine at a time so you can keep track of what you have covered. Do not worry about getting perfect coverage on the first pass. Just make sure every surface gets product on it. Be very careful not to get any product on the drive belt because it can cause squeaking or slipping. Let the restore soak in for about 10 minutes, then come back with a clean microfiber towel and buff every surface you treated. This removes the excess so it will not collect dust, and it evens out the finish to a deep, rich black. One important warning. Never use WD-40, motor oil, or any oily product on engine bay plastics and rubber. Those products attract dust, break down plastic over time, and make a mess. Always use a product specifically designed for trim restoration. The 11th step is to touch up rust and faded lettering with paint markers. This is a small detail that makes a huge difference in the finished result. Look around the engine bay for any rusted bolts, brackets, or fasteners that stand out against your freshly cleaned surfaces. One rusty bolt can ruin the look of an otherwise perfect engine compartment. Take your wire brush, scrub the rust off, and then go over it with a black paint marker. It takes seconds, and the result is remarkable. While you have the paint marker out, look for any faded or worn lettering on caps and covers. Washer fluid caps, oil caps, and engine covers often have raised letters that have lost their color. Just carefully trace over the raised letters with your paint marker, and the contrast comes right back. These tiny finishing touches are what separate a good engine bay cleaning from a truly professional-looking result. The 12th and final step is to reassemble, reconnect, and start it up. Put back anything you removed during the process. If you took the intake off, reconnect the hoses and sensors. Set the cleaned battery back in its tray. Connect the positive terminal first, then the negative. Before you turn the key, do one last visual sweep to make sure no towels, brushes, or tools got left under the hood. Then, go ahead and start the engine. It should fire right up with no issues, no check engine lights, and no problems. The whole process from start to finish takes about 2 hours, and what you are left with is an engine bay that honestly looks brand new. And now for the bonus tip that professional detailers swear by. Do not forget about the underside of your hood liner. Most people clean the engine bay and never even look up. If your hood liner is black fabric and it has gotten faded or stained over the years, you can bring it back to life with a black fabric dye designed for automotive use. Make sure it is non-flammable, spray it on evenly after the liner is clean and dry, and let it cure. The difference is absolutely night and day. Your hood liner goes from looking like a faded gray rag to a deep factory black that completes the entire presentation. It is one of those details that makes people do a double take when you pop the hood at a car show or just for your own satisfaction in the driveway. Thanks for sticking with me through the entire video. If you found this helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more DIY automotive repair tips, and check out our other videos.